Tonight, you'll hear from three people who discovered that trust is fragile, safety is an illusion, and that some threats hide in plain sight. My story begins in a college English seminar during my second year. I'm pre-law, so my grades are everything. The class was on Gothic literature, led by a teaching assistant named Silas. He was in his late 20s, awkward, with a vibe that screamed failed musician. Discussions were like pulling teeth, except for one guy. His name was Carter. He was in a popular fraternity, clever, and actually did the reading. His jokes broke the tension. Since I participated to keep my GPA up, it was often just me and Carter keeping things alive. Silas seemed to appreciate it. He'd compliment my points. But after I aced my first essay, his attention became focused. He started asking me personal questions after class. Where was I from? What did I do on weekends? I brushed it off as TA curiosity. Around this time, Carter and I started seeing each other. We moved in the same Greek circles, and after a few mixers, he asked me out. He was charming, easy to be with. We started dating. It was simple. One afternoon, I saw them together behind the humanities building, Carter and Silas, talking like old friends. When I asked Carter about it, he shrugged it off. Just currying favor for a better grade, he said with a laugh. I called him pathetic and forgot about it. Weeks later, I woke up in his bed to find his phone glowing beside me, a video playing. A gut feeling told me to look. What I found wasn't texts to another girl. It was a gallery of me. Dozens of photos. Some I'd sent him, many I had never taken. My blood turned to ice. I didn't confront him then. The next time he fell asleep at my place, I tried his password. It was his birthday, backwards. I delved deeper into his messages. What I discovered was a sickening transaction. For weeks, he'd been sending those intimate pictures of me to an unsaved number. I took screenshots of everything, my hands shaking violently. I woke him up, screaming, demanding to know who the number belonged to. He stammered a lie about a backup phone. I knew it was garbage. I left. The police traced the number. It was Silas. Carter confessed they had a deal, money for photos. Betrayal doesn't always come from a stranger. Sometimes it wears a familiar, smiling face. Carter was expelled. Silas was fired and faced charges. I thought it was over. But recently, a gray SUV has been idling outside my sorority house late at night. No one gets in or out. I'm probably paranoid, but how would they even know I live here now? This next story isn't about a slow burn. It's about a single, violent rupture. My name is Jake. I'm 21, living with my parents in a remote, snowy part of Washington state. Think dense forest, not Hollywood. 2 weeks ago, my parents went to a destination wedding in Italy. I had the house to myself. The first night was peaceful. The second night, I went to bed around 2 a.m. and fell into a deep sleep. Something jolted me awake. Not a sound, but a feeling, a primal wrongness. The room was pitch black. As my eyes adjusted, I saw it. My closet door, which I always shut tight, was standing wide open. My heart kicked into my throat. I wasn't dreaming. This was real. Instinct took over. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand and flicked on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness and illuminated two figures standing at the foot of my bed. They were just waiting. The light hit them and they exploded into motion, darting to either side with unnatural speed. Something metallic clattered to the floor. I screamed, a raw sound of pure terror, and waved the light frantically. They bolted for my bedroom door. I heard their footsteps pounding down the hall as I scrambled out of bed. By the time I reached the living room, the front door was slamming shut. They were gone. I stood there, shaking, trying to breathe. I ran back, locked my bedroom door, and called 911. Only then, with the overhead light on, did I see what had fallen. A large chef's knife from our kitchen block lay on the carpet. They hadn't come to rob me. They had been standing over me with a blade while I slept. The police came, found no forced entry, and suggested I'd forgotten to lock the front door. My parents, upon return, said the same. But I know I locked it. That's not the point. Why were they there? What was the plan? I keep asking myself, what did I interrupt? The final story is about an erosion of peace, drip by drip. My name is Chloe. After a breakup, I moved into my first solo apartment in Cincinnati, a second-floor unit overlooking the parking lot. I loved the privacy. For a few weeks, it was perfect. Then I began to notice a man. The first time was on the stairs, an average-looking guy in a dark blue hoodie. We awkwardly sidestepped each other. No big deal. Then I saw him by the dumpsters, then sitting in a black sedan in the lot, seemingly staring up at the building, my window. A pattern formed. He was often just present. I told myself I was overthinking. He lived here, that's all. But the coincidence became impossible to ignore. I have a routine, a specific gym and a particular burrito spot I hit twice a week. It's 20 minutes away in a different suburb. One evening, I'm in that restaurant and I look up. He's there, at a table across the room, eating alone, in that same hoodie. My stomach dropped. This wasn't a complex neighbor. This was intentional. I felt his glances. When I left, he began to gather his things. I drove home in a panic, taking detours. For a week, nothing happened. I started to relax. Then, one morning, I found a slip of paper under my door. No envelope, just a handwritten note. It read, "You should really keep your curtains closed at night." The fear was absolute, suffocating. I moved out within 2 weeks, breaking my lease. I went back to my parents' house in Dayton, an hour away. I thought I was safe. I was wrong. A month later, driving home from a new gym near my parents' house, I saw it. A black sedan parked on a residential street 2 blocks from their house. I am certain it was the same car. I sped home. My dad installed cameras. We haven't seen it since. Maybe it was a coincidence, but how did he find me? The question haunts every errand, every glance in the rearview mirror. The most terrifying prison is the one built by your own fear. These are the stories that change how people move through the world. If they held your attention, please support the channel by hitting the like button. It helps Winds of Thought bring more true, unsettling narratives to you. Which of these 3 realities disturbs you the most? Let us know in the comments.